Hello, this is Evangeline. Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be looking at modesty in regards to the way we dress. I'm a fashion designer. When you choose to live your life for Christ or walk this Christian walk, yes, you become a new creature. Old things have passed away and a lot of things you need to change. We understand that. However, if you enjoy fashion and art and styling, I don't think you should throw that away. What I would recommend is you modify it. And that's where modesty comes into play when it comes to how we dress to show up in the world to represent Christ, because we're supposed to show up as the light of the world. What I'm going to do is I'm going to showcase a couple of pieces from before I rededicated my life to Christ, and then I'll show some of the things, a couple of pieces that I actually created in my recent launch, so you can see what modesty looks like but still being fashionable. So this goes back to when I was like 12. That's when I started doing fashion, and I would create my own pieces. My mom used to sew, so I kind of copied after her, but I didn't go down that route in choosing fashion as my primary source of income or using it even during education. I didn't go down that route to do fashion design. I actually went down the route where I did international business and economics with a minor in finance. But it helps. It helps now that I run my own fashion brand. When I got into fashion on the business side and started to sell the pieces that I made, I was not walking with Christ at that time. So the pieces that I created did not represent 100% Christ-like person. However, though, because I was really influenced by fashion from the 1920s and 1930s, they were more elegant, they were more sleek, or more vintage and retro styles. So they didn't expose a lot of skin. And as a result of that, I started to go down that way when it came down to my pieces. But it didn't mean that I didn't make pieces that were over sexualized, that did not fall in line with modesty. Yes, they were vintage pieces and didn't show too much skin. But as you know, we have to mirror the world when we're in the world. We have to compete with what the world offers. And so I started to over sexualize some of the pieces. I just went down this road of doing that more in my designs. When I came to Christ, or I rededicated my life to Christ, during a time of prayer, when I dedicated my business back to God and said, take control. You tell me how I'm supposed to run this business, because the talent that I have was given to me because of him. I didn't go to any formal fashion school. Everything that I create was self-taught, and I asked him to direct me on how he wanted me to run the business. And I started doing business meetings with God once a week. I was in the process of planning a collection during this time, and the first thing he pointed to me was, this collection needs to represent modesty. So I had to come up with some pieces that will line up to make sense when it comes to modesty according to scriptures. It's more about value and not necessarily rules. So you just want to make sure you value the temple that God has blessed you with. And he's blessed me with fashion and art and styling. So I want to dedicate that back to him and be very respectful of the things that I put out there in the world. As I say, we are here to represent Christ in the world. So the first scripture I'm going to read is going to come from 1 Timothy chapter 2, verses 9 through 10, which reads, I also want the women to dress modestly, with decency and propriety, adorning themselves not with elaborate hairstyles or gold or pearls or expensive clothes, but with good deeds appropriate for women who profess to worship God. This clearly instructs us as women, believers, to dress with modesty. It's not overdoing. So I decided to switch a lot of that when it came down to styling, on how I did my hair, the makeup I put on, the clothes that I wore, not overdoing, things, just so I can be in alignment with what Christ has called me to be as a follower. So modesty, when it comes down to it, is about not seeking attention. Pretty much that's what it is. And so when we apply that to how we dress and how we show up in the world as followers of Christ, we want to make sure that we're wearing pieces that are fashionable, but we're not looking for attention. We're not looking for people to be attracted to our body shape or, our breasts and all those things. That's the point of view that I'm taking modesty, and then also tying it back to me being a fashion designer and how I want to show up in the world, still being fashionable, but at the same time taking into account down that I am going to be representing Christ in this world. Let's take a look at some of the things that I used to wear or things that I've created in the past in my brain. This is the first one here. This, I mean, talk about seeking attention. This here brings attention to my legs. I mean, it just puts everything out there. Next one, breast is all out. Like everything is like tipping over, and I'm kind of top heavy. So a lot is being revealed here. Yes, the bottom is covered up and all that, but at the same time, there's no imagination as to what my chest looks like at this point. But yeah, now this is not too bad. The top is covered. I have on pantyhose, but so much attention. I'm looking, there's so much, attention in this look right now. Like everything is being exposed. Everything is out there in terms of my legs. The skirt is just too short. This is a picture of me sitting in a chair. I can barely cover up my bottom. Yeah. And actually, this is one of the pieces that was a top seller. And I had to pull that after I talked to God. And he's like, that has to go. So in as much as it was pushing traffic and money to the business, when God said it has to go, I had to give in. And it had to go. So yeah. But those are the couple of things that I did in past collection, and there's a whole lot more that I did that was over sexualized, even the way I presented myself in some of the pictures. Now things have changed. I recently launched a new collection. There are two pieces I want to show you that are modest, they're presentable, but they're still stylish. So the first one I'm going to show you is actually a two-piece set, but you can actually split it up and wear it as a dress and also pair with the pants. So this is a good outfit for the spring season just because it's sleeveless, and I intentionally made it sleeveless in a way where it's almost like a cap. So my arm is like it's not like a really skinny strap. It's like a real good coverage here. This is what it looks like worn as a dress. I added the scarf, made it longer, so it's like mid-calf on this dress, just so it can give you some style and some dimension when it comes to the overall look. It has a very large collar, not overextended, but it's large enough and it gives you like a little pop. So that's what I did with this. But I want to bring you in so you can take a look at my makeup in this video. I went for a soft look for this combination, and then I also wore minimal jewelry. Also with the hairstyle, I usually wear my hair in a natural state, so I don't have any relaxers or anything in my hair. I did a flat twist with this look, and I put a bun in the back just to give it that elevated look and clean, chic appearance. This is what it looks like paired with the pants. You're covered up. It is sleeveless, like I said, but it's still modest. And the pants is a little flare on the bottom, and I kept the jewelry the same, didn't change much there. Everything remained the same, hairstyle, everything remained the same. But this is a very stylish, modest look, in my opinion. And it's presentable as well. And the next look is a dress, midi dress in a beautiful olive green color. And it's a high neck, but the fabric is breathable. So you're able to wear this in the summer as well. I didn't change much when it came down to the makeup look and the hairstyle. I kept everything the same. Like I said, this hairstyle can go with just about anything and everything, and also the makeup. With the shoes, I did swap out the shoes that I used in the first look. So this one, put on a gold pumps. That's really chic and unique, classic, clean as well. But this is what modesty looks like. So yes, the fabric holds the body, but it's not sucking into the skin. It fits just right. It's modest, it's chic, it's stylish, and it's well put together. And I did change out the clutch. So there are a few things that you can do as a fashionable, stylish person, but at the same time, you're taking into account your faith, because like I said, we're commissioned as believers to be light in the world. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. It allows YouTube to share the video with more people. Also, if you enjoy content like this, please consider subscribing. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.